American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too.
What I said during the debate is what I say to you now, same thing, is I think the American people get tired of seeing front page stories from the media day after day about emails. They want to know why their kids can't afford to go to college. They want to know why they can't afford health care, why we have a grotesque level of income and wealth inequality. That's what they want.
But they want to know about their presidential candidates.
Sure they do, but day after day after day, and that's why I said enough is enough with the emails.
Evidence continues to pile up against Hillary Clinton and her email saga, as if there weren't enough evidence already. Most of the mainstream media, Hillary's BFF, has turned their backs on the new information, but the Washington Post reported that after the most recent release of emails on October 30th, the total number of messages on Hillary's personal email that were deemed classified has grown to 666. Please feel free to infer your own irony at that number. But the media and even her fellow Democrat and adversary for the Democratic nomination, Bernie Sanders, has remained mostly quiet about the scandal. It is clear that Hillary Clinton was housing classified information on her private email, and that is against the law. It puts our nation at risk. Instead of reporting these facts as the pile of evidence continues to grow, the media is still basking in Hillary's alleged win last month during the congressional hearing, and then her supposed victory when Joe Biden announced that he would not be running for president. Joining me now is editor of Accuracy in Media, Roger Aronoff. Roger, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Liz. Good to be with you.
Now, are we seeing the liberal media bias here in covering this story about Hillary Clinton like we saw during the CNBC GOP debate?
Definitely so. We're seeing that they're trying to just treat it as a complete non-scandal, that you see how much they are interested in the supposed lies of Ben Carson and all the problems within the Republican Party. But there's a huge problem for Hillary and for the Democrats if the media would only talk about it. And that is what you're talking about. This last batch of emails that the State Department released revealed another 266 emails that contain classified material. And it's really, the FBI has been investigating it, but yet at this point, the media still wants to pretend like, hey, Hillary had a great week. She easily skated through the Benghazi committee. Biden dropped out, and isn't she doing wonderful? So yes, it's a definite case of media bias.
It's like the mainstream media is an arm of her campaign. Now, in your opinion, as more emails are uncovered, do you think Hillary will face any consequences?
Actually, I don't, because what it comes down to is this. The FBI, James Comey, and I think most everyone agrees that he's a straight shooter and is looking at the evidence. What happened recently, last month, was President Obama went on 60 Minutes, and when asked about the emails, he said basically that he didn't see any problems from a national security point of view, and that basically Hillary had apologized and all this. And what it turned out, this really upset the people at the FBI who have been doing this investigation. And they went and talked to the New York Times and said as much, that they were angered that this basically undermined their entire investigation and made it seem like the Obama administration is not going anywhere near an indictment. And that's what would have to happen. The FBI would go to the Attorney General, who would most likely in turn go to Obama, since we're talking about the leading candidate for the Democratic nomination next year. So the question is, would he say, yes, go forward with the indictment if that's what the evidence shows? And it's highly questionable. I mean, we think back to this picture that when Bill Clinton was on the golf course at Martha's Vineyard with Obama looking at him like saying, hey, buddy. And then we had a report from Ed Klein saying that Hillary said, call your dogs off of this investigation. It's just, so it would be for him to do that, it would be creating really a civil war within the party. And it might be the perfect opening for Joe Biden to step in, which I think most people assume Obama would rather have a Joe Biden presidency follow his than a Hillary Clinton one.
No, I'm glad you brought up the topic of indictment, because I think this is an interesting topic on several levels. So you were talking about how Obama would react to that, but let's back up a couple steps. Past Obama, past the Attorney General, let's talk about just the FBI. Now, some insiders are saying that the FBI does have enough evidence to build a strong case against Hillary Clinton of gross negligence for the mishandling of classified data and multiple counts of obstruction. That's enough to indict her. Will the FBI, in your opinion, indict Hillary Clinton?
Well, it's not up to the FBI to indict. They can do a criminal referral, take it to the Justice Department, and that's where the indictment would have to come from. And that's my point, is that at that point, it should be up to Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General. But since it is so political and so sensitive, I don't believe she would do that without going to the White House and asking Obama, what do we do here? And I think it's ultimately going to be his call.
Right, and that's certainly not how our system of justice is supposed to work. It's not supposed to be a crony system of justice where one person who's political friends with another decides whether to indict them for laws that they have clearly broken, or at least that warrant an investigation. Roger, thank you for joining me tonight. Today is Veterans Day, and tonight we honor the men and women who serve our nation. Stay tuned.